there's 3 sections on this. One, plotting points, proving a solution. Graphing, I'll get to it. Just go to the worksheet. Graphing, and then writing the inequality. I'm going to give you the graph. You're going to write the inequality. Sorry about that. So, tell where the order pair. The order pair is your x comma y. So this would be x is 3, y is 0. Your x-axis is a horizontal line. So here is the point 3, 0. Is this a solution? Yes. If it's in the shaded, it's yes. If it's not in the shaded, it's no. So this is yes. What if it's on the dotted line? That is a no. What if it's on the solid line? Yes. Okay, so that's what you're checking for. I need a physics. I'm going to check that I see your point in the right part, on the right part or section in the graph. Okay? Now, when you get through 4 through 9 here, you're going to graph the systems of inequalities. The first set, the first 3 here are dealing with special lines. Okay? So if I look at x is greater than -1, because it's an x, what type of line is this going to be? Yeah, this is a vertical line, and I'm going to abbreviate that, just vertical, V-E-R-T. The inequality is greater than, so this is dotted, and this would be shade. If it's greater than, what would we shade? But it's vertical line. Shade to the right. So I go to a -1. There's that point on the x-axis of a -1. I'm making a dotted vertical line. And then you can use your highlighter or your pencil. We're going to shade to the right. Okay. Now, I want you, whenever you do your final shading, focus on the overlapping and make that darker. So when I graph my second line, which is x is less than, this is also vertical, dotted, but because it's less than, we're going to shade to the left. So here's x is less than, this is a vertical line right here at 1. Okay. So I just need to focus on the overlapping. If I'm shading to the left, do you see where that overlapping is going to be? Yeah. It should be in between the lines here. So this is where it should be darker. Or what you could just do is put the capital S in between where the overlapping should be. So you're either making it darker or I see the capital S where the overlapping would be. So 5, because it's y greater than just a number, we don't have 2x, we just have 2. This is horizontal, solid, but greater than would be shade above. So solid, horizontal, at 2 on the y-axis, and we're shading above. Then you're going to do the second line, also horizontal. Okay, at 3, but it's shading below. Make it dark. Now on 6, now we're getting into x and y's in the inequality. Remember, to graph when we have 2 variables, it has to be an mx plus b form. We need this form to graph. So what I would do to solve for y on number 6, I would say minus x. Yep, y is greater than negative x plus 1. Yep, that is the line we're graphing. Where do we start for this line?
-0?
No. What's the y-intercept?
1.
So you start at 1. How do I move from this point?
Down 1 to the right one.
Down 1 to the right one. Or up 1 to the left one. And because it's greater than, it's a dotted line. So I'm just going to put hashes in between my points here. Because this is greater. So it's dotted line. And this would be shade
Above.
above. Yep. So I would shade above would be here. Sorry. Now, let's talk about this one. This is not in slope-intercept form. I need to solve for y. But if you think of it, the y is by itself. It's just on the other side. So if I switch it around, yeah, you switch the symbol. Y is greater than or equal to x. Mhm. Put it on my desk. Yep, we start at the origin.
And it's a vertical one.
No, it's a slope of 1. Up 1 to the right one. Or down 1 to the left one. And it's going to be a solid line.
So the solution is shade.
And when we shade, we're going to have to shade above, right? Because it's greater than. So do you see where they would overlap? It would overlap right here. So there's the S, or make it shade darker. All right, so think about this. Now we need to solve for y. If I switch, if I get the y by itself, there's a couple ways you could do this. I could first move the 2, right? And I would have x minus 2 is greater than or equal to y. But if I switch, right, if I switch the 2 around,
Y is less than, 2?
because I want it to be y. Yeah, if I switch, it's going to end being y is less than.
Less than or equal to x minus 2.
Yes. Okay. So now I can see that this is solid and it's going to be shade below. So I started at -2, my slope is 1, so I'm counting up 1 to the right one. And I'm making a solid line through those points. And we're shading below the line. Now to solve for y, on the second inequality, here I would minus the 2x. I get y is less than -2x plus 4. Start at 4 as the y-intercept. Slope of a -2 means I'm counting down to the right one. And this is a dashed line. Because it's less than, that means below the line. Did you see where it's going to overlap? It would overlap here. So you're going to work on solving for y for the remaining graphs. Remember to switch your inequality if you divide by -1 and then find the overlapping. Okay. Now, I just want to talk about the back real quick. So on the back, you are given the graphs here. Okay? You're giving me the inequality for each line. So like, for example, I'm going to start with this dotted line here. I'm going to make this my line 1, L1. Because I see a dotted line and the shading is below the line, this can only be y less than. And because the line is horizontal, it's got to be y is less than 1. So try the second line, this solid line here. Where's the shaded on that for that line? So what inequality would we use for the second line?
Y is less than or equal to.
No.
Greater than or equal to.
Yeah, greater than or equal to.
-4.
Yep, and we're done. So basically do one line at a time. Like I'm going to go to number 12 here. I'm going to start with the dotted line. Looking at this dotted line, where is it shaded compared to this dotted line? Below. So that means this has to be y is less than. Now, in order to come up with the equation, I need the y-intercept and I need the slope. I can physically see the y-intercept is at a -3 right here. I need another point or count the slope. Yeah, because I could go up 2 to the left one. So it's -2/1. So this would be -2x minus 3.
And then the straight line, it's a straight line, is it a below?
The solid line you're talking about? It's below, so that would be
Y is less than or equal to.
less than or equal to, and same thing, we need the y-intercept
2.
and we need the slope.
Up 1 and to the right 2.
So 1/2x plus 2. That's all we're doing, is reading off the graph the type of inequality it is based on the shading and based on the line, and then finding the y-intercept and the slope. Do we understand the expectation here? Okay. All right, so you're going to finish the ones I didn't do, and then you're going to turn this in for a grade.